Good afternoon, everyone. This is a support call for emergency preparedness for hospice and home care patients and agencies across Mississippi and Louisiana. Today, we will be focusing in on District 9, which is the southern Gulf Coast of Mississippi, covering Pearl River, Stone, George, Hancock, Harrison, and Jackson counties. Even though we will be focused on District 9, um, listen, and if you have any questions regarding hospice in your area, please feel free to ask them as well. I'm going to go through, we have some folks with Mississippi Emergency Management on today's call. But before we get there, I want to remind everyone that all of these sessions with the various regions are being recorded, and we have them posted on our website, and we send them out to anyone using the at-risk registry so that you can go back and review any of the material that we talk about for each district or for each the Mississippi Gulf Coast District and each region in Louisiana. So you'll have that. We're still waiting to confirm a date for Louisiana sheltering in Region 6. To discuss the Mississippi Gulf Coast, I just want to remind everyone we're talking about over 500,000 people that live in that area. In terms of the Medicare beneficiaries, they're make up about a fifth of the population. So a fifth of the population on the Gulf Coast is at least over the age of 65. Last year, hospice admitted about 3,000, over 3,000 folks with 2,100 deaths just along the Gulf Coast. The hurricane season is a 6-month span, so you can imagine that during this 6 months, we will see at least about a little over 1,000 deaths that will take place, and so we want to make sure that, at least in terms of hospice, patients and families are prepared, even in the midst of some sort of emergency event. I want to remind everyone that when we're talking about um what is it 3,000 hospice beneficiaries on the Gulf Coast, you have 3 times that many in home care, in home health. That number may look deceptive in terms of the actual amount of folks that we are covering today between home health and hospice. In terms of the Mississippi Gulf Coast, these are the counties, these are the contacts, the telephone numbers for those emergency managers in each one, as well as the alert systems that are available in each one of those counties. I will be taking these slides, turning them into a PDF, and posting them in next week's calendar invite. So anyone who would like to draw down the PDF, all of these hyperlinks are active. So you can just click on them to get information about all of these different topics that we're going to talk about today. In terms of the emergency planners for each district, I'm thinking that this is the correct list. Is there anyone on today's call from District 9 that can confirm that these folks are in place and still employed with MSDH? And we just want to make sure that we're giving the correct information in terms of contact. And then these are the planning maps. I have to admit, these planning maps were from last season. I have not gotten updated information from MSDH in terms of all of the different districts in Mississippi. But as soon as we get updated maps, we will be passing those on to all of our Mississippi providers. As of this morning, there were 68 patients in the at-risk registry that would need assistance if there was an evacuation order called for their neighborhood. There was 1 in George County, 5 in Hancock County, 29 in Harrison County, 28 in Jackson County, none in Pearl River County, and 5 in Stone County. So when we're looking in terms of evacuation of hospice patients or home health patients, these are the numbers that are currently in the registry. There was only 2 patients in District 9 who were missing a county assignment, meaning that the patient's the county was not um, um, pinned to that patient. I'm asking everyone who's using the at-risk registry to make sure that you are picking the correct state and the correct county in which that patient lives in order to make sure that the names of those patients are going to the correct emergency manager. There was 1 patient in District 9 that was missing a zip code. That's very important that we have the zip code as well of the patient for geosyncing. And then I want to remind everyone that in the date of birth field, it's the year first, followed by the month, followed by the day. Every Friday, we send out reports to the emergency managers across every county in Mississippi and every parish in Louisiana. And it's important that agencies update your patients each week on Thursday so that the information we send out on Friday is accurate and correct. We do send out a reminder to everyone using the at-risk registry to do the update. If you're not receiving that reminder, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to put you on our list. These are some helpful helpful links that folks along the Mississippi Gulf Coast and in Louisiana might also find useful in terms of getting their patients and families more information. And I just want to remind everyone, next week we will be looking at Region 3 in Louisiana. But having said all of that, I want to turn now to District number 9 on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Do we have any folks from Mississippi Emergency Management on today's call? Hello?
Yeah, Chad's here from Jackson County.
Hey, Mr. Brown, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm actually in the middle of another meeting. I'm double booked right now, so I'm kind of listening with 2 ears.
I'm sorry. Okay, so in Jackson County, I was noticing we have 28 people who are on hospice today that if there was an evacuation order called today would need assistance in getting to safety. And I was just wondering if you might address that, the process for getting those patients from their homes to a shelter.
As far as the process, we don't really have. Hold on a second. I gotta move Jamie.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of a meeting. Apologies, Jamie. Apparently, I have a very loud voice. I don't know how to whisper.
Okay.
As far as the policy for Jackson County is, we don't really have any policies in place to directly transport people. But what we do is we have some organizational relationships with our school transportation and so on and so forth. So if there's a real emergency need, as those needs come in, we'll reach out to school transportation and other people and, kind of get those people moved.
Mm-hmm. So every Friday you're getting these reports about these 28 patients. I'm hoping, correct?
Yes.
And the shelter for Jackson County is located in Stone, the hurricane shelter for medical need for medically needy patients. Hello? I think he may have gone beyond the Wi-Fi range for that space. We'll let we'll let Chad come back on. Hopefully he will be on. Do we have any other emergency managers from the District 9, or is everyone in this meeting? I attended the meeting in Harrison County last week, and I was under the impression that they were going to be able to join us in spite of this meeting. I thought this meeting is going longer than they're anticipating. So let's see if we can get. Do we have any providers on the Mississippi Gulf Coast that have questions about process?
Hey, this is Rachel Ward with Hospice of Light. I don't have any questions, but just wanted to speak to you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, let me ask you something. You're in Ocean Springs and Lucedale, that Jackson County?
Jackson and George, we actually cover 7 counties.
Yeah. But okay. So some of these patients are yours. Some of these 28 patients are yours that
Correct.
would have to go. And everything is, my understanding is that there's a hurricane shelter that's located in Stone County that folks in District 9 would be using, correct?
That need medical attention. Yes, sir.
Have you received any instruction as to how to make sure the patients get in there?
I have not. We have a point person that we would reach out to.
And that point person is whom?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I can find out.
Okay, if you could, would it be one of these folks over here that we have listed? Right here.
Those with the pictures on it?
Yeah, I'm thinking this one.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Would it be Amanda Aldridge
Amanda Aldridge or Kim Blackwell.
or Kim Blackwell? Okay, great. So this chart is still handy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know Anna Claire McBride or Queena Mills?
I do not.
Okay, they would be handling Hancock and Harrison County. Okay. Your greatest concerns about patient care during this hurricane season?
Knock on wood, we'll have everything under control.
Mhm.
As soon as there's any threats, we start looking at oxygen, extra oxygen needs, medication supplies. I don't foresee any problems that we're not prepared for.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. Uh, is there anyone else on the Mississippi Gulf Coast that wants to chat about your greatest concerns for patient care this hurricane season? Thank you, Rachel. Let's see. I'm hoping Chad comes back to join us. Okay, well, I don't have anybody else from the Mississippi Gulf Coast on today's call. Oh, wait, there is a Gulf Coast Special Needs registration form that has to be completed by patients. That's coming from Kelly Neal. Kelly, do you have a copy of that? I know that it was when I was at the meeting in Harrison County, it was in a draft form, but they had not finalized that form. Have you received the finalized copy? Finalized form?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Kelly,
Okay,
thank you.
I'm trying to get off mute and I couldn't.
Thank you.
Yes, the Gulf Coast Special Needs application has been on the Harrison County EMA website for a while. This one's been around, I know for at least a few years, we've had to use it one time for a home health patient that needed to go to to the medical needs shelter. I can pull it, and I think I can probably add it to the chat, but it's on the Harrison County, Mississippi.gov website under the download section. Let me see if I can put a link to it. There's a evacuation request form that you can fill out ahead of time, and then there's a form that you have to fill out like when the patient actually needs to go, like that, that I filled out as the home health nurse, and sent in to the Harrison County EMA. And then our ESF 8 officer at the time, Gregory Doyle, was able to arrange for him to go to that shelter.
If you could send us that link,
Yes, I am.
if you get to that link, and I tell you what, if you could put it in the in today's in the chat, that would be great.
There we go. There's one. That's the application. The special needs registration application is for the, like, when you have a patient that's ready to go that you need to send to the shelter, like for an upcoming storm like this week or something.
So are you preparing these forms for all of the patients that you put into the at-risk registry?
No, we've only had to do this one time. We haven't had to get patients, since I've been in this role for home health, we haven't had any patients that needed to go to the special needs shelter except for one time. So we had it filled out like a couple of days before the storm. I think maybe the day before, I think it was Zeta, to get him set up, but we didn't even know about the registry at that point. So that was just how we kind of got him.
Right.
Because we knew he couldn't stay home, so that was the only thing we could figure out for that particular patient. But most of ours are able to evacuate with family. So we haven't had to do it.
Well,
otherwise.
That's the ideal, is that the patients evacuate with family. But for those without family, they pose a particular risk for themselves.
Right.
And that's why we have the registry to register them and get those names to the emergency managers.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important, though, that the registry is updated each week. In order for the names of the patients in the registry to get to the emergency managers, it requires that the agency do that weekly update. Right. Otherwise, the name doesn't go to the emergency manager that week.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm wondering if Chad must have dropped off. I don't see him back on. Chad, are you there? I'm not seeing him. Okay. Any other providers along the Mississippi Gulf Coast? Are there any things? Rachel, we especially with hospice, have you received any special instructions as to how to handle a death that takes place in the midst of a storm?
No, I haven't. We did experience some deaths during the snowstorm that we had in January. I know that's not hurricane, but of course our staff was unable to get to the patient.
Right.
The coroner's office, our ambulance, actually they weren't able to get there either. So we just communicated with the family that someone would be there as soon as it was safe and they were able to get there.
And how long did it actually take for it to become safe?
Within a couple of hours, the fire department was able to be there, and they pronounced, but it was several hours before the coroner was able to get there.
Does anyone else have any experiences with dealing with a death on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in the midst of an emergency? Or have you had instruction about how to handle deaths from your emergency managers with regards to a storm? Okay. Okay. Do we have any other folks on today's call that have questions regarding emergency preparedness in their part of the country, in their part of the world? You have to unmute yourself if you want to speak. And I see, thank you, Kelly. I see Kelly has put 2 links into the chat box that you may want to, if those of you on the Mississippi Gulf Coast may want to click on in order to download those ahead of time, those forms. Thank you, Kelly.
No problem.
Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, we can only hope that this is going to be a quiet hurricane season. Without any emergency managers or other provider questions, I have nothing else unless you want to ask questions of me. Okay. Well, as we said earlier, next week we will be meeting same time, same Wednesday, on Wednesday, and we will be looking at East Louisiana, region number 3. That's the Metro Houma Thibodaux area, the Bayou Country. So if there are no other questions, thank you for your time today, and we'll look forward to talking with you again next week.